My name's Justin. I'm Métis from Saskatchewan. I'm an Indigenous person here in the city of Toronto, doing city building and looking to make Canada a better place. I think there's a lot missing from the conversation on Canada 150. I think largely critique, I think, is missing, particularly from Indigenous folks. We've interjected ourselves in this conversation about Canada 150. We've been continually saying Canada wasn't designed and built for us. It's that it was built in spite of us. It was built without us. It was built to exclude us. And so in thinking about the future of Canada, which I think is a very critical part about Canada 150, thinking about the future, Indigenous people need to be leading those discussions. I think there are a lot of things we need to do in this country to build a more inclusive and equitable place. I think first, Canadians, the business sector, the not-for-profit sector, all people in this country really need to look to Indigenous leaders, Indigenous folks, and in particular the calls to action laid out in the TRC. I think it's a really critical starting point for any conversation about the future of Canada, about equity, about equality, about inclusivity. And in particular, I think Call to Action 66, which is really focused around Indigenous youth. It really focuses around creating multi-year funding for Indigenous youth to develop projects, to be leaders in their communities, and this national network where Indigenous young people can share about reconciliation. I think if we're thinking about the future of Canada, if we're thinking about inclusivity and equity and all of these really critical things, I think it's vital that we look to Indigenous young people to lead that conversation. They know firsthand what it means to be left out of the conversation. They know firsthand what it means to not be at the table. And second to that, I think it's critical that all Canadians aren't afraid to make mistakes. When people are afraid to make mistakes and not learn from those mistakes, people don't do anything. And we've had enough generations of people not doing anything.